I think the event is important because it's one of a kind in Africa. You have a few in Africa, but everybody thinks this is the main event for Africa. So if you want to meet people, if you want to meet the vendors, if you want to learn something else, this is the place to come. I think everybody saves their best for Cape Town, and I think that's why so many people come. From the start of this event, I don't remember how many years ago, it must be 8 or 10 years ago that we started this event. This has grown exponentially every year. We get more and more people, more and more vendors, more and more exhibitors, and more participants coming here. And I think it's because we know we can meet the right people here. We know that we can see the right things here, and that's why I think it's become as popular as it is today. I think there's still tremendous growth in the African market. I think, for all of us who started about 7, 8 years ago, I still think there's a lot of growth still in Africa. Probably another 2 to 4 years of growth. And then I believe it's going to flatten. The curve is going to flatten in terms of growth point of view. The margins probably will be there, maybe a little slimmer, but the margins still will be there. I think the danger here is that people believe that this is an easy way to print money. And people are rushing in thinking that you just have to get a mobile license and that's it, and then the money will come. And it's not going to happen that way. It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of understanding of the market, and in particular understanding that every single market, every country is different from the other one. And I think there is a danger that people could overinvest, particularly the third and the fourth operators coming in now and thinking this is a great investment. We'll just build and the subscribers will come. It doesn't work like that way in Africa. It's not Europe or America where it's pure consumer product. This is not a consumer product for the Africans. This is another kind of product. This is a product that is part of your life, part of your family, and people don't just switch because somebody else offers a cheaper product. They don't do that, and so they're loyal in some ways to the company. So I think that if companies have to be relatively careful and pragmatic about their investment. When you're the incumbent, of course, we still believe that there's strong growth there. Whether there's room for a third and a fourth and a fifth operator, I think, in my opinion, is very debatable. Well, I think we're in a tremendously good position. We're in a unique position. We have something like 75% market share. We have strong cash flow. We have good profits. We're just going through an IPO where we'll become a public company, and the public will be owners of a portion of Safaricom at least. And I think the market, it's just opening up. I believe that our future now is going to be in telecommunications, be it mobile, be it fixed. It'll be in telecommunications. And because of our size and our critical mass, and because we have the public behind us, I think we have a tremendous future. I can't say too much because we're obviously doing an IPO, and I've got to be careful what I say. But I think this is we're in a very unique position now to take advantage of our situation in the marketplace. And I'm very confident that in 2 or 3 years' time, this will be a very different company. When you get these big multinationals coming in from outside, buying into the local companies, they tend to want to micromanage those companies as well from afar. And I think if you look at the companies around in Africa that have been allowed to get on with their management, the local management get on with their job with some broad-based objectives, you'll see those are the companies that are most successful. Where they are managed from headquarters, from Paris, London, wherever it may be, I think you don't see them as being so successful because Africa is not sort of some monolithic continent, as a market. It's lots of different little markets, individual markets grouped together. You can take the marketing strategy of, say, Vodacom in South Africa and import it into, let's say, into Kenya and say it'll work. It doesn't work, and it's been proved it doesn't work. Some markets are more easily. It can happen more easily, but it depends very much on the people. But I think it will continue. I think what's happening now with France Telecom buying 51% of Telkom Kenya, with more Etisalat or Ascom, all these people coming in, I think that will continue for a while, for sure. Whether it be successful from a financial point of view or commercially, that I'm not so sure. If you want to be a success, you have to take into account the cultural differences between the countries and the different people. Africa is definitely ripe. I mean, it's huge potential because we have no fixed infrastructure. Mobile is the way to go. So if you're going in from a greenfields point of view, you can't fail. But if you want to be long-term financially successful, you have to take into account the different cultural nuances of the different countries. And, the history and the kind of different people that you have there. You cannot just group it all and say this is Africa and we have an African marketing strategy. And, there are examples where you can go and have a look at now where you see companies have gone into Africa and have not been successful. Yeah, they've been, they've been relatively successful, but not extremely successful, because they've had an African marketing policy rather than a country marketing policy.